act like we left something. We don't duck smoke, we want all of it. So line them up, Trey sharp with the blade, you know we sizing it up. I'm quick to catch the fade, you know Styles making the cut. Cause we coming out clean every time that we showing up.
It's gonna be called The Barbershop.
Yo, what up, folks? Welcome back for another week of the Barbershop Sports Talk Podcast. We are streaming live on our YouTube channel, Facebook page, on Twitter at Barbershop SPOR2, also on Instagram. We're streaming live at Barbershop Sports Talk Podcast and also on our Twitch channel as well. I'm Trey Frazier. That's the homie Maestro Styles over there.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What's good, man? What's going on? How's your week been?
Hey, man, just another week in paradise, man. I got some good sleep, even though it don't look like it or feel like it. But I'm here, man. And let's work.
Yeah, let's do it, man. We got on here about 10 minutes ago, and you just looked like
I was dozing off.
out of it.
I was dozing off.
Yeah, you just looking out of it.
I was ready. I was ready for the show, and my body reminded me that you are going hard. Go get some sleep after this.
Man, this job kicking ass again.
Yeah. Job. Hey man, I got to get into my acting bag over the weekend, man. Shout out Andrew Jackson. He was shooting a music video, and I honestly just wanted to support him. Mm-hmm. And they was like, "Yeah, we need you to get in this video, and do some acting."
Okay, yeah, that's what's up.
And shout. And so we also just put out the Great Unknown project. Mm-hmm. Out on streaming, so check that out. Check out Andrew Jackson, Great Unknown, and he also got Superfly out right now too with Nick G. So if y'all into that rap shit, rapidy rap. Okay,
yeah, that's what's up. When the project that you just did, when can we expect
that's out? It's out.
Oh, okay.
It's out. It's out on streaming.
All right.
Great Unknown is out on streaming now, all platforms.
All right. That's what's up, man. That's what's up. Hey, quick shout out to a guy of mine, Whittle 2K. He's got a podcast called Coast to Coast podcast. Was invited to do it last week. He's a Buffalo Bills fan. Him and his homeboy there. They invited me on to talk Bills and Ravens last week. So wanted to give him a good shout out because that was a dope conversation we had in regards to that matchup, and definitely can't wait to talk more about it as we get the show rolling here. Couple more things too. Vince Wright, sports governor of Minnesota's. We go back about 9-10 years. Since doing this whole podcasting thing, going back to the X Squad days and all that good stuff. I invited him to come on this week because a big blockbuster trade went down between the Knicks and the Timberwolves. So we'll talk about that. And then the Vikings are 4-0. And I know he's a huge Viking supporter. So we'll, talk to him about how surprised he is that the Vikings are 4-0. And I would expect him to come on probably about the next 25 minutes or so. So that's definitely something to look forward to. It's been it's been a minute since we talked to him. We did his show back over the summer or over the spring. So definitely looking forward to speaking to him for sure.
Yes, for sure. Shout out to the governor. I guess we could do some quick hitters.
Yeah, I got some quick hitters, man, for sure. I want to get this out the way because this week has just been crazy with losing legends. Whether it's sports or entertainment. And so earlier today, we lost a great actor, John Amos, died at the age of 83. Everybody knows, well known for James Evans from Good Times, also Coming to America, a few other sitcoms. He did some guest stuff on The Fresh Prince, In the House, and a few others.
He's did anything, most black television he's done.
Yeah. The catalog is deep. I don't think people realize how deep his, music. I mean, not music. His TV catalog and music catalog is, but definitely, you know, veteran in the game. You know, sad to see him go. Live the full life. You know, condolences to the family, and may he rest in peace.
For sure.
Also, yesterday, we found out that we lost two sports legends. Pete Rose, famous, you know, Cincinnati Reds Hall of Fame. Well, not Hall of Famer, because that's been a big topic of him getting in the Hall of Fame because of the whole gambling situation from, you know, years back. And then we lost to Kembe Mutombo earlier yesterday, I believe, at the age of 58. To brain cancer.
Brain cancer, which we knew he had. I know that it was announced maybe 2 years ago. That he had it. Yeah, man. Rest in peace to the Kembe Mutombo, Pete Rose, and John Amos. I don't pretend to be, you know, as I'm not like a super baseball person, I don't pretend to be super well versed in Pete Rose. I mean, look, I know he bet on games and got caught. And they I guess said your accolades wasn't worth the Hall of Fame, and you know, that's a shame that he would die, or that he died without his acknowledging his accomplishments being acknowledged in the way that I feel they should have been acknowledged. You know, that's unfortunate, especially with all this gambling going on now. And I know teams still ain't really gambling on each other, you know, on their own teams. I get that, but
right,
you know,
it's the hypocrisy of it all, really.
It seems, you know, look, man, he did some shit, and sure, and I get back then that wasn't the thing, you wasn't supposed to do it and all that, but you know, he was still one of the better baseball players, to my understanding, in his time. And, you know, he should be acknowledged for that, I feel like. I don't feel like he should have passed and not being acknowledged for it.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. And with some people that I talked to about Pete Rose earlier today, you know, it seemed like they were slowly trying to bring him back into baseball. Like I remember he was on Fox doing like some pregame stuff, and you know, because before that they wouldn't give him a manager job. They wouldn't give him like a position coach job. Like they wouldn't do like anything in regard to Pete Rose. Like it was a ban. They wouldn't. Like I just heard a story today where they said because his son played in the league and they made Pete Rose pay for tickets. That's crazy. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So they've been doing all that for years, and then it just seemed like maybe about 10 years ago they started kind of bringing him back into baseball, like kind of back into the spotlight, and you know, it seemed like baseball was kind of using his image for popularity instead of just getting to the point. Like, hey, we get it. You know, you served your ban. You know, you paid your penance for the gambling. Let's celebrate you, you know, the proper way. And they didn't do that. And I feel like at this point, now that he's no longer here, that, you know, putting him in the hall at this point would just be disingenuous, in my opinion. Because you want the guy to, because you want him to at least witness it, right? Like,
yeah, I saw that tweet, and I saw when you tweeted that, and I won't. You there? I don't know if I'm going out or if you going out.
Okay, I see you.
Okay,
can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I was saying that I saw your tweet talking about it being disingenuous. I don't know if it's I don't know that I agree that it's disingenuous. For certain, it would be, in my mind, too late. And I don't mean too late meaning don't do it. Just like I think we both agree that he should have been here to witness it.
Yeah.
But look, I think Hall of Fame is something that is, you know, it's history. It's something that kind of marks you as legendary. Even and you know, 15, 20 years from now, fans of baseball who will see him in the Hall of Fame, being acknowledged. Maybe that story comes with it, but maybe the gambling story comes with it. But he's still acknowledged as one of the greats in baseball. And right now, he's not acknowledged as such, even though he was that. So, and look, even if he wasn't the best baseball player, what happened, it should be documented in baseball history.
All-time leader in hits.
Yeah, I mean,
over 4,000.
No. I know he was one of the better players. I'm saying even if he was not one of the better players, just the precedent of the gambling and all that, that's something that should be acknowledged. Not necessarily, I get that's not necessarily a positive light, but just as a part of baseball history, definitely should be recognized. I mean, I don't know if that's super appropriate right now. I'm just talking about in the scheme of history. Pete Rose is a historical figure in the realm of baseball. We know what he was as far as a player. I'm just saying, irregardless, he's a historical figure for better or for worse in baseball, and should be acknowledged and respected as such.
Right.
Yeah. So rest in peace to Pete Rose. Condolences, prayers to the family, everybody involved and affected.
Yeah. I got I wanted to share a Dikembe moment. Well, actually not even a moment, more so highlights. Because I think when I think of Dikembe Mutombo, I think several things come to mind. He was on that Nuggets team that upset the Sonics back in '94, I think it was. Nuggets was an 8 seed. I think that was like the first 8 seed to ever knock off a 1, if I'm not mistaken. And you could like see him on the floor with the ball in his hand. That kind of a moment that they pulled the upset off there. And then he was on that finals team with AI, the Sixers, and the rest of those guys. And I mean, that's really for me about it. I mean, other than the finger wag. He was an ambassador for basketball. I mean, especially when you take it to a global perspective, and what kind of impact he had on being able to allow it to branch out to Africa and all those countries over there. So So definitely iconic in the NBA for sure. I want to say condolences to his family as well, and may he rest in peace for sure.
Thank you for your contribution to basketball, to my entertainment. And may you rest in paradise.
Yep. Since we're sticking with basketball, quick hitter here. Teresa Weatherspoon, head coach, now the former head coach of the Chicago Sky, was fired last week in a situation where I don't understand what the reasoning is for it. I guess my initial reaction when I heard it was, Angel Reese got to get up out of there, because it just seems like there's some dysfunction in the front office or within that team. I don't know what the expectations were with that team. I think she did a good job, considering they traded one of their best guards right before the Olympic break. Then Angel Reese got hurt and she was out for the year. Then Camilla missed, I think, like the first 5-6 games. And then she ended up, I think, getting hurt again. And Kennedy Carter was on some kind of COVID protocol for about, it seemed like 4 or 5 games. Like when in the stretch where they really needed to, win games for the playoffs, she didn't have her players like at full health most of the time. I thought Teresa Weatherspoon did a good job. I mean, is she not? I mean, she's not above criticism. There's some things that I question in terms of like coaching decisions and things like that, but I didn't think after 1 year she should have been let go. I thought they should have kept her and just kind of let this thing kind of ride out. Angel Reese expressed how disappointed she was in the fact that she was gone from the team now. So look, if I'm Angel Reese and that front office start making some questionable, weird decisions, I'd be ready to get up out of there if I was her. That's just me.
Yeah, but leverage ain't going nowhere. I look. Don't ask me to have a real opinion on it. I mean, I don't know. I tell you one. It would seem, and again, you know me. I ain't really watched the WNBA like that, but it would seem that they had playoff expectations, and they didn't make the playoffs. I get it. You telling me about injuries and all those things, and I'm not here to shade it or say those are invalid points. I would just say that if those were the expectations, then and she didn't meet them. I'm not saying they should have fired her. I'm saying I don't know. Like you said, you don't know what the expectations were no more than I know. Well, I know the next hire. What I do know is that the next hire better be one of value and that takes them to the next level. If you're going to fire a coach after 1 year,
yeah. I was just going to say they had the top 2 picks in the draft for a reason. Not top 2, but they had 2 picks in the first round for a reason. You know what I'm saying? They weren't a very good team last year, and then that roster prior to Angel and Camilla being drafted, that roster went through a major overhaul. So I just don't get, if you overhaul a roster, that your expectation is, playoffs. And I get it. There's not a lot of teams in the league. It's 12 teams. There's 8 spots, which means 4 teams are eliminated from, postseason play. So I get that, they were, for the most part, for the majority of the year, they were in that 7-8 spot. They were back and forth with Indiana for most of the year. But again, at the break, you trade one of your best guards. Angel gets hurt. She can't finish the season. Camilla gets hurt. Kennedy Carter's on protocol. Like those were the 4 best players on the team that went through some sort of injury or absence that had nothing to do with, production on the court per se. So I think they're wrong for letting her walk. Hopefully Teaspoon lands on her feet someplace. I've been suggesting for a while that, we got these 2 new expansion teams coming. Golden State is getting the team and Toronto is getting the team for next season.
Okay.
If I'm one of those 2 expansion teams, I would think about giving Teaspoon a shot.
Yeah, one thing we know about sports is that it's a coach carousel for the most part. So we hope she lands on her feet and gets another job. I'm sure she'll be. I hope she'll be fine. I can't say we know she'll be fine. I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like I watch enough women's basketball to know if she's going to be fine.
And who knows? Maybe somebody in the NBA would give her a look, not head coach, but like position coach of some sort. Like, there's female assistants in the NBA. So
sure,
who knows?
Hey, we said it. We wish all the best to her for sure.
No doubt. You got another quick hitter, man?
I don't know if it's a quick hitter, but it seems to be the news of the day. Davante Adams wants out of Las Vegas. You are a prophet and a Nostradamus. You called it. When I saw the news earlier today, I immediately thought about you. I almost texted you if my job wasn't kicking my ass today. But I said that he did it again. He did it again. So he wants out of Vegas. There was some Instagram posts basically questioning was that Davante Adams' last snap, and Antonio Pierce was found to have liked the post.
Yep.
And now here comes the melee, and I guess today he officially requested for a trade out of Vegas.
Business decisions, man. It's just like Coach said, business decisions.
And to be honest, good for Davante Adams if he can get out of there. Yeah. Look, anywhere he goes is a 1-year rental, or you're trying to work out how to pay him money. Yeah. Yeah, we went out again, bro.
Apologize, folks. We just having some technical issues, but you know, we gonna go right through it. Devontae Adams, and this is coming off of beating the Cleveland Browns on Sunday. Like,
I ain't got nothing. Yeah,
I'm just saying. Like, I'm just thinking about everything that's transpired with this team. And look, you know, Gardner Minshew ain't nothing to, you know, sneeze home about.
Nope.
You know, Devontae Adams at this stage in his career, that man trying to get a chip. I think the Raiders need to do what's in both parties' best interest, whether that's trade him within the division, which I don't see them doing, but you just never know. I'm not one. Look, I didn't think the Nets was trade with the Knicks. So at this point, anything's on the table. If they decide they want to trade with the Chiefs within the division, that's their business, you know.
So what's compensation look like for you? 32 years old, 32 years old.
Second rounder, maybe a player, maybe some comp picks or something like that, but definitely second rounder and a player.
So even with his contract, because you're gonna have to figure out. I mean, from what I understand, after this year, his contract, even in Vegas, is essentially over. I mean, there is another year on the contract, but basically they can get out of it if they want to get out of it. So you off rip. You talking about getting him somewhere where he gonna want some more money. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna have whatever team he goes to, they're gonna have to re-up. So in my mind, I ain't gonna say in my mind, what was suggested on something I was watching today is off rip. That's not a second round pick because that's more of a third round pick. Because you know, we're gonna have to figure out this situation, this money situation, because he's still one of the better wide receivers in the league, but he's injured, and he worth a lot of money. So those were some of the hurdles. The teams that I heard, obviously the Jets, and the second team was the Saints with Derek Carr,
because he wanted Derek Carr, right? When
he went to Vegas.
When he went to Vegas, right.
Yeah.
That's right. I forgot
now, so Derek Carr in New Orleans with a better offensive coordinator, a better defense, a better team around them all the way around.
Yep.
You know, that could obviously look different. But like you said, it's a 1 year rental. And then you're worrying about trying to get him some money.
Yeah.
So I mean, you know, that it's a tough situation because you got to figure out $35 million essentially is what the reports are saying.
Yeah, I think the Jets got some money though, that they'll be able to, you know, compensate and be able to pay him if they make the trade for him. The Saints is an interesting one.
Send him to the Saints, please. Send him to the Saints. My God, send him to the Saints, bruh. Go to the NFC. We don't need him over in the AFC with Aaron Rodgers. That's just a little spark Aaron Rodgers might want to need to start deciding he want to turn up because he's been job mid so far in the year. Right. That would be just the little reason for him to try to turn up.
And don't think he's not saying nothing to Joe Douglas in them.
Yeah, exactly.
He talking.
Exactly.
So
exactly.
You know, don't think that he ain't saying nothing.
Either that or listen to Cordell Patterson. Cordell Patterson is already on social media trying to figure out how Pittsburgh can get him. I know we're not getting him, but a man could dream.
Yeah, of course. We all could dream here. We all could dream. Let's get the homie up on here. We go back several years, man. About 9-10 years, going back to our X Squad days. He's been on here several times with us. You know him as Vince Wright, aka the Sports Governor of Minnesota. He's got a great podcast, folks. Sports Done Wright. is the name of the podcast. Check that out on all your streaming platforms and all that good stuff. Big supporter of the Minnesota teams, which we'll, talk about in a second. But first, man, appreciate you coming back on with us, man. I know it's the second time we spoke this year. How's everything, man? What's going on?
Everything's good, fellas. Life is good. Can't complain. Yeah, man, just kind of tripping here off this trade that went down a couple days ago, or pseudo trade. I guess we got to wait for it to be official still, but life is good, man. I can't complain. I hope you and your families are doing well, fellas.
Yeah, thank you. Same to you, man. I know you had you some ish going on with you, man. I'm glad to see you healthy and good spirits, man.
Hey,
getting back to what we do.
That's right. You just, life throws a little hurdle at you here and there. You just got to keep on keeping on, man. Get to the other side. Like Andy and Shawshank, you got to kind of go through some shit.
Yeah.
And you come out on the other side. So.
Yeah. I'm glad to see you healthy too. That was scary for a minute there, but glad to see you
man.
well again.
Keep up on your health. Black men in particular, keep up on your health. Nobody likes going to the doctors. I get it. It's scary. They can come in that room and be like, hey, man, we found this little dot here or something there or this or that, man. But, I was to the point, man, where I had no comfort level, fellas. Yeah. Anything I did was just uncomfortable. And, prostatitis, or had this kind of swelling of the prostate, so to speak, which, made sense because, it affects going to the bathroom or not going to the bathroom.
Yeah.
But once the doctors got that figured out, man, as soon as I woke up from the surgery, I was straight. So
yeah,
again, just keep up on your health, fellas. I ain't gonna preach, but just keep up on it.
That's what's
up. We need the preaching sometime, man. Drink water, drink water. Exercise properly. If you got some meds you need to take, make sure you keep up on your meds.
But go to the doctor to know you need it, like you said.
Right on. Right. And because, hey, man, I'm a meat and potatoes dude my whole life. You don't get to be 6'5", 300 plus by eating salads all day every day. Mm-hmm. But all of a sudden incorporating some salads, some vegetables, and it's not really hard. You just got to kind of portion control. And if you like burgers, just have a burger once a week, as opposed to like I was doing back in the day, maybe 2 or 3 times a week or something like that. Can you handle a single cheeseburger instead of a double cheeseburger? Little things like that. You go.
Yeah. Nah, that's what's up. Hey, we was just wrapping up this Davante Adams conversation. So it broke out today that he requested a trade from the Raiders. It's something that I talked about maybe several months ago, that this was a possibility. I didn't think it would come after them actually getting a win over the weekend, but I said that if this team started slow, meaning 1-3, 0-4, that you could start hearing some rumblings. But now that the cat's out the bag, what's your thoughts, like in terms of who has the package to trade for Davante Adams and where could he fit?
Man, I'd love to get him in Minnesota.
I knew you said that. I knew you said that.
To our 3D days, with Jake Reed and Moss and Carter. But man, I don't know. I saw this coming though. Back, anybody that watched the Receiver Show on Netflix saw this coming. You could tell that. He just wasn't happy. Wasn't liking the way he was getting looked at down there in Vegas. So it isn't a shock. I don't know the team's numbers just offhand, but I think he will have a lot of suitors. I heard you guys he's 32, whatever, but the dude can still ball out. And, I think he will have a lot of suitors. I think he's going to be all right. But the problem with the Raiders is the owner, in my opinion, man. Mark Davis I don't know, man. And I wrote it on the Instagram chat. I don't think the Raiders are going to win until he sells the team. Or unless he just turns over total control and just, I'm going to be the owner. I'm going to collect this money and sit in the suite and all this stuff.
Right.
But man, I have not been a fan of his, since he took over after his father died. And what they've had a couple nice seasons, but Raiders ain't really done nothing in a long time. And they're down in Vegas now, where half the stadium is going to be the opposing team's fans,
right?
Because it's Vegas. You can go make a weekend out of it and go support your team down in the LV. So it's not like they really have this huge home base. And talking to my homies down there, the city of Vegas is actually, they grabbed onto the hockey team because the hockey team was, built there, put their original, all that stuff. So everybody's walking around in, Golden Knight gear as opposed to some Raiders gear as well. So Raiders
and the Aces got a fan base too. And the Aces, because of them winning back-to-back championships, they got a nice, following for their size as well. Yeah, but it's funny you say.
Who going out? Is it Trey or is Trey? Okay.
Yep, Trey.
Okay. So I'm sure I don't know what he was about to ask you about. I'm not gonna lie to you, man. It's not how we format our podcast. We kind of put.
All right. Sorry, folks.
It's all good. It's
all good. Stuff going on. No, I was gonna ask because where the Raiders originated from, LA, Oakland. I used to hear that like fan base would travel to those Vegas games. So I'm a bit surprised to hear that, and I see it. Like when the Chiefs go there to play, you see half red, half black. When you see other teams go in, you see half them, half the Raiders. But I'm surprised that being at Vegas and Oakland, LA, all West Coast teams, by the way, they don't get that fan. For the people that do miss having the Raiders in their town, that they don't travel to watch the team play.
Well, they're about to find out what that Oakland A's baseball team in Vegas too, because now they're having all kinds of issues with the stadium and the money and stuff. All of a sudden, now they got to go over to Sacramento and play for a year or two. And who knows? I mean, there are some conspiracy theories. They're like, I don't think the A's are ultimately going to even wind up in Vegas.
Wow.
So
interesting.
Yeah, I mean, Vegas just, it's a different place. I'm happy that they're finally getting sports teams, and looks like they're going to get an NBA team as well. But man, I don't know. And to speak on that Raiders LA thing, I think they were planning on it, Trey, that it's a quick 3.5 hour drive. And I'm sure there's probably a few Raiders fans over in LA that make that drive, go hang out. It's Vegas after all, but I don't think it's just the numbers that they were anticipating.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and I can't. I'm sorry, that's just not practical to drive 3 hours for a football game every weekend or every other, based on however their home schedule is. That's just not practical.
Yeah, they're not good to go to every game. That's not practical.
Yeah, and it's Sunday, so I mean, unless you're going to take off Monday from work. Right. Or, maybe, a lot of people now you can work remote. So maybe it's like, hey, I'll stay in Vegas Monday and maybe work and then drive home after whatever. But, that's still kind of a ordeal to deal with too. So, I hear what you're saying there.
Yeah. So, hey, man, I'm going to let y'all kind of trade opinions, man. But this Karl Anthony Towns, Julius Randle trade went down over in the past week. How you feeling about
Friday
that,
night?
Man?
Friday night.
How you feeling, Governor? How you feeling, man? I know you hate to see Karl Anthony Towns go.
Well, okay, let's just jump in right there real quick, because that's kind of the thing of the whole Timberwolves fan base. Majority of the fan base a couple years ago was ready for the trade. Ready for Karl to go. They were sick of the antics, while they respected, his double-doubles that he's giving you basically every night. I'm old school, to see these 7-footers out there beyond the 3-point line, just sitting out there all game taking shots still kind of bugs me. But, he's hitting at a 40% clip this year, so I mean, you got to respect that. But, my initial thought was, okay, well, did we get enough in return?
Julius Randle, Dante DiVincenzo.
To our players, but Dante, lit it up last year. He has some.
I hated to see him go.
So there's kind of pluses and negatives on both sides of the issue, right? New York gets a center and then gets some help spacing and things like that. But for us, I like these players a lot. I really do. But Randall's been injured. Had surgery. Going to be sitting for another month or two.
Yeah.
But the positives that I like from his game is he's kind of more of that alpha we're looking for. He's going to kind of get out there and thump you in your chest and get down low post and make you work for it and all that stuff. So I definitely respect that. DiVincenzo obviously brings a sharpshooter that can replace Karl Anthony Towns' 3-point, that 40% from out there, because he was shooting about 40+% last year.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And made a whole bunch of 3-pointers. So, I like it, but I just don't know if we got enough for Karl Anthony Towns. Now for New York, good for you guys. I always thought he was going to go back home, go back out, especially when his mom passed from COVID. And for folks that don't know, it wasn't only his mom. He wound up losing like 6 other relatives from COVID during that time.
Right.
So, now that his dad's a high school coach back out in Jersey, I could see this, and I'm very happy for him too. But it is interesting because, you look at the Timberwolves fan base and it's like somebody shot their favorite poodle all of a sudden, where just a few months ago, everybody was kind of clamoring for a Karl Anthony Towns trade. So, it's kind of weird, just kind of weird. It's like I said, there's pluses on both sides. There's some minuses on both sides. Obviously, we just got to see how it plays out. Yeah, I'm definitely interested to see him hooking back up with Thibodeau again, and see, if Thibodeau may have some different plans on how he wants to use him out in New York, and also how these two are going to come in, and depending on Randall's injury, this trade was made by Naz Reid getting a whole lot better last year.
Right.
Right. I think that Tim Connolly, the GM out here, who put together Denver, came to Minnesota, put together what you saw with the Minnesota Timberwolves last year.
Yep.
And it's just kind of like you wonder about what he's doing sometimes, but this dude's got ice in his veins, man. I mean, nobody saw this coming. And Connolly has no issues making trades, making moves. We don't even know who's going to own this team here as of right now. We're going through this ownership battle with A-Rod and Mark Lowry on one side, Glenn Taylor, the president and owner for the past many, many years, on the other side, and they're in arbitration waiting to hear who's going to get the team, basically.
Yeah.
How much of that has to do with the fact that the Timberwolves are winning now, that Glenn Taylor is maybe changing his mind about selling?
That's obviously kind of the big rumors, like, hey, all of a sudden now I want to hold on to this and get a much better valuation. I basically sold to these guys too low.
Right, because obviously the team is good, the stock is up. Right.
But bringing in Tim Connolly, that was A-Rod and Mark Lowry who engineered getting him to come to Minnesota.
Gotcha.
And I think that's the thing. Glenn Taylor's kind of your more stuffy old suit type of owner in a lot of fans' eyes, where A-Rod and Mark Lowry are your present cool, owners of today, so to speak. Right. The Wolves also have to decide too on luxury taxes. They stepped into it this year to kind of do what they're doing with this team. There had been some rumors that maybe A-Rod and Mark Lowry did not want to do that. So, it's kind of all over the place. But, we're just kind of waiting to hear who's going to actually own the team.
Interesting. So,
Trey, what's your thought? I don't want to lose the sight of on the court. Your thoughts of on the court, what this looks like for you.
For the Knicks. And I really had to take about 24 hours to really let it resonate, because I think I've expressed once before on this platform that I didn't want Karl Anthony Towns, because I thought New York and the city and the bright lights and all that was just going to be too much big for him. And so they make the trade. And I think for me, the worst part of the trade is seeing Dante DiVincenzo go, especially after the big shot he hit against the Sixers in Game 2, the 35 points he put up against the Pacers in Game 3, just pretty much the entire season. I mean, I remember saying when we got DiVincenzo on the roster that this was an upgrade from a three-point shooting standpoint. And he made guys like Deuce McBride better, shooting 40% from three. Other guys on the team were shooting, at a higher clip in terms of threes. Dante himself was in that 38 to 39 percentile range of shooting threes. And I just hate to see that go. But I get that you replacing him with a guy who's a center, and people have said he's the best, shooting big man. I've heard that quite a lot. Yes,
but you think, not to cut you off, but you think that you don't think they're gonna put him at 4?
I think they're gonna put him at 4 when Mitch is healthy and he comes back.
Okay.
I think there's gonna be some moments where Mitch will come off the bench. I think there'll be moments where Mitch will start, and I think when Mitch starts, Mitch obviously plays the 5. Cat will play 4. But I think for now, if you ask me, starting 5, Brunson, obviously, Bridges, Hart, OG, and Karl Anthony Towns. And the other thing I hate about this too is that now I think our bench is kind of weakened a little bit, because before with Randall was going to be at the 4. Mitch was going to be at the 5. You had OG at the 3 and Bridges at the 2, and you'd have had Hart and DiVincenzo coming off the bench.
Right.
Now that you don't have DiVincenzo, and now you got to put Josh Hart back in the starting lineup because
we're gonna be cussing out Xfinity tomorrow morning.
Right.
We are definitely gonna be cussing them out tomorrow morning. It seems like everyone he get in his bag, this joint just want to play around.
Yep.
God, man. Again, apologies, folks.
There we
Again, we're going through some stuff, man. That's my thing about it. I think the bench is weakened. The bench is weakened.
Got you.
Precious, Deuce McBride, we
Campaign.
got Morris, Campaign, Shamet. We picked up Shamet.
Yeah, so I'm ready to disagree with you, because Morris ain't no slouch coming off the bench. Campaign, we know what he can do as a backup point guard. I mean, people are singing Deuce McBride's praises and stuff that I'm looking at right now. Like he could low key.
I like Deuce.
The people saying that he's 6th man of the year ish. Right now when
I ain't see that. I ain't seen that.
That's what I'm just looking for shit.
Right.
Ish. Now I'm not saying he in the ish 6th man ish is what they're saying. You know what I'm saying? So they're not ready to roll out the red carpet for him at 6th man, but they're saying he got that type of ish kind of talent where he could be a pseudo.
He improved
6th man, pseudo 6th man type of situation. So with that, and I mean, we ain't even got to talk about the top 5. The starting 5. Like I don't, unless you don't believe Karl Anthony Towns is going to be efficient for this team, I can't see how you don't see this as an upgrade. Now, I get the DiVincenzo.
Well, I didn't say I didn't see it as an upgrade.
Okay.
I was just pointing out the things I was thinking about during that 24 hours after the news broke. I'm thinking about the bench, and not having Hart, who plays Draymond-ish at times, to get that off the bench. Instead, that's in the starting lineup, and it's one of the better starting 5s. Let me.
I'm sorry. Can you define Draymond-ish in Josh Hart's game?
Oh, getting people involved, the rebounds, the dude. The dude be all over the court. He be all over the court, man.
I wasn't disagreeing. I was just trying to understand because of how people look at Draymond Green. So that's.
Okay.
Yeah, but I ain't see him kicking nobody in the nuts enough, and that's why I was confused.
Nah, I got you. But yeah, but to not have that come off the bench now and into the starting lineup, it's one of the better starting fives in the league. Like you could look at Boston starting five, and then you look at our starting five. I like our starting five. I'm just talking about this move, it creates maybe a hole with the bench. We'll see if Deuce can step up again. We'll see about the Morris brother, which they waived for a little bit, but I think they're going to re-sign him because I think they had to do that for some cap situations, but I think they're going to bring him back on. I do like Shamit. Campaign, I know the ugly, shooting form, but
he runs point guard.
He gonna run the offense.
Point guard. Yeah.
He gonna run the offense. So after my whole 24 hours of thinking about this trade, I've come around to it, and I looked at it this way: if you want to win a championship, at times somebody's got to be a sacrificial lamb. I mean, we saw it in Toronto when Toronto was at its limit with DeRozan, and they made the trade for Kawhi, and they got him a championship. You look at the Kansas City Chiefs and all the years that Alex Smith was taking them to the postseason, and they kept running into a wall. And then you get Patrick Mahomes, and he takes you over the top. When you're trying to win a championship, you got to make these kinds of tough decisions.
Yeah,
and I was never on the you got to trade Randall away. You got to get rid of Randall. I was never on that train. I always wanted to see what that looked like, when he was healthy. Like it was a shame that he got hurt last year because most likely we beat the Pacers, most likely with Randall there. We get to the conference finals and, we give Boston a tougher, matchup in the conference finals than the Pacers do for sure. I wanted to see what that looked like. I ain't gonna front. I wanted to see what a healthy Randall coming back with Bridges, with everybody back, DiVincenzo and all that. But I got to admit, Karl Anthony Towns will help space the floor for the Knicks. He's gonna help Jalen Brunson, I think. I think Mikal Bridges, who's been an Iron Man since he's been in the league, I think he's gonna be a better player because you got Karl Anthony Towns on the floor. Gov, I guess my question for you is because when Tibbs was in Minnesota, there was always that thing where him and Cat didn't get along, and I guess maybe they reconciled some differences maybe a few years ago. I'm thinking this because Leon Rose doesn't make this move without talking to Tibbs and Tibbs telling him, go get Cat. What was that relationship like?
Listen, it's not like I had access to players and people like that. Mm-hmm. So, like a lot of people, I rely on what I hear in the media. Right. And I do have some contacts in the local media and stuff, but I don't know. I don't know if Tibbs hated him as much as it may have seemed. I think Karl sometimes just brings his stuff on himself sometimes by just the way he plays and kind of, was bitching about fouls and, arguing with referees. Meanwhile, the plays back on the other end of the court, stuff going on. So, I think they're going to do just fine as a coach player. I was going to kind of piggyback on what you guys were just talking about in terms of taking those chances and making trades and whatnot. Because that's what's been talked about on the, here on the Timberwolves side is that GM Tim Connelly just probably didn't feel that he was going to win a ring with Karl Anthony Towns.
I said that before.
So then, if that's your thought process, okay, then you kind of go into your stock mode. Do I try and sell high here while I can and while he's still good and got impressive numbers, or do I hold on to him and try and make some other things work around him? And I think he just finally said, you know what, we're going to make this move without him. I like the DiVincenzo side. I am excited about that because he's going to spell Mike Conley. As good as Mike Conley has been, Mike Conley is going to be if not already 39 years old. Yep. A great guy, he's basically a coach on the court. If you ever, we've had the opportunity. He's interviewed on a lot of shows locally. He just has that coach's mindset when he talks. It sounds like you're listening to a coach when he talks. So now you don't have to rely on Conley as much. rest him, let him kind of even lead on the over there on the bench. And so I much like Trey was saying, you give it 24 hours, you got to kind of let all this stuff sink in and process. So I think both sides of this trade are more happy than sad. I think they can find probably more pluses than negatives. And obviously we just got to see how it works out on the court. But I will say that Karl Anthony Towns, when they come back here in December, he's going to get a great reception. And, if you follow anything on Timberwolves Twitter and any of the social media stuff, you already see people, like I said, 2 years ago they wanted him out, but now they're in love with the guy and missing him. But that also goes to Karl and what he's done off the court here as well. You can say what you want about the cat on the court, but off the court, man, in New York, obviously going to find out, this guy's going to be in the community. He's going to be helping kids. He was at the Timberwolves gym supposedly till 3 a.m. shooting baskets with
I saw that.
The trade. I saw that.
Yeah.
So he's always going to have love, here in the Twin Cities and the state of Minnesota. So, that goes without saying. And, everybody wishes him well as long as they ain't playing the Timberwolves. But yeah, I think I am. I'm pretty excited to see what this does for both of these squads.
In your mind, is this a conference finals team again? Ooh. The Timberwolves, that is?
Well, I was reading. I kind of got some notes that I'm kind of glaring down at here. I printed off from the ESPN NBA insiders here, Ramona Shelburne and somebody else. Because I just want to get names right here, Marks or somebody. But that's exactly what they were talking about. Is this a finals team as of right now? I think it's a top 3, top 4 Western Conference team. It's very close up at the top there again. But I think they can get back there. It's going to look a little different, obviously, with Cat gone and just the way that hopefully this offense runs a little differently and a little more wide open now. But I don't see why not. Anthony Edwards comes back. He's looking like the Incredible Hulk. He, the past few years, he's kind of gotten some shit for, hey man, you got to stay out that, stay out the drive-through lane and this and that. He came in, media day. He's looking tight. He is looking big and just, saying all the right things. So yeah, man. And, rumor has it up here that, part of the getting rid of the salary and stuff is, hey, maybe they can make a run at, Ant-Man's favorite player, Mr. Kevin Durant.
Especially with him.
Yeah. Timberwolves kind of maybe thinking ahead a little bit. So, we'll see. But I'm more excited than I am distraught about the trade. So yeah, let's just get it on. And kind of funny that was right before training camp started for everybody.
Yeah, for real.
Too, that
for real. I'm sure he was going to try to move over to some Minnesota Lynx talk before he. You there?
True. Yeah, no, I'm here. I'm okay. Here. I see y'all's pictures keep coming in and out and stuff. So, but no, I was gonna stick with the Timberwolves for a second. So, starting 5: Conley, Ant-Man, McDaniels, Randall, and Rudy. Right? Would that be your starting 5?
Yeah, more than likely.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
It's not terrible. It's not bad. No.
No, not at all. So, Maestro, in your mind, is this a team that gets back to the conference finals in the West?
You asking me way early, but my answer, without doing a whole lot of thought, is no. Here's what I'm concerned about, and Trey, I'm sure you're aware of it. We want that ball to move, and healthy Randall has historically meant that the ball may not move. And I don't know how that is going to affect Ant-Man's game because Ant-Man is the guy that you want to, if anybody going to stop the ball, that's the guy you want stopping the ball. Now I get it's a rotation type of thing, but that would concern me. But just offhand, without me thinking about anything else, Who we talking about in the West right now?
Well,
Denver,
and I agree with you, by the way. And I agree with you, Maestro, by the way, because I'm thinking about OKC.
Yeah.
We're thinking about Dallas, who was in the finals. You can't count Denver out.
Yeah.
And, I know we talk a little harsh about Phoenix and what they're going through, but you still got to deal with that offense still, right? So there's some teams that's, right there in that, top 6 that you still got to deal with.
Absolutely.
And to be fair, right this second, if we're ranking those 6 to 8 teams, I would probably have Minnesota at like 4. So that's not a bad space to be in when you're talking about getting to the conference championship. I just don't know that. Like, I have them slightly above Phoenix just because they have done more last year. They got a lot. I ain't gonna say a lot more going for them, but they got more going for them. Like, I don't know. I believe in Phoenix's team just because of the star power they have on that team. Like, they have to figure something out.
Right.
But right now,
they swept them.
Right. But Minnesota is clearly playing better basketball right now. So so that ain't no argument. So I got them above them. But when you talk about Denver, when you talk about OKC, when you talk about
Dallas.
Thank you. And look, I'm not even saying that they can't play with Dallas. Like, they can play with Dallas. Like, don't get it twisted. Just right this second, I give Dallas a slate.
I think that's totally fair. I mean, just top 4, and I'm happy with that too. I mean,
right.
So I would say they're a top 4 team, and let's just see what happens, and we're gonna find out here soon. Season starts before you know it.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah,
yes,
sure.
indeed.
A couple weeks from now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. Well, go on, get your Minnesota Lynx on real quick.
so Vince, just because Maestro said it the way he said it, he has not kept up with WNBA at all this season.
And the Mystics was trash, so it wasn't even no incentive to try to watch it.
But I got a couple things for you with the Lynx, Vince.
Okay.
Well, my first question is, how far you think they can go in these playoffs? Because right now you're down 1-0 to Connecticut, and I think Fee is probably second in MVP standards right now.
Oh, totally.
She's playing great right now. We all know Asia's the MVP. We knew that for about the course of the year, but Fee is in her own category in terms of how she's been playing. But how you feel like this team can go?
Well, they can go all the way. This is just kind of the way these playoffs are structured with these 3 out of 5s and this and that makes it a little bit quirky. So when they lost the other night, so just being down and there is urgency right away. That's one thing when you have a 3 out of 5 series. But no, honestly, they can go all the way. They just got to come back, get these wins and keep it going. Fee has just been phenomenal. I mean, she's reinvigorated the franchise here. Obviously we had a dynasty going back in the day with Maya Moore and Lindsay Whalen and all these other stars that we had. And then won 4 championships with those teams. She's reinvigorated it to the point where, all right, let's get it going again. Cheryl Reeves, possible coach of the year. It's been real nice to see. Now, like Maestro, honestly, I haven't followed a lot of the WNBA, but I have been following recently, obviously, with the playoff push.
Yeah.
Fee, obviously stepping into her own and really, making people like myself take notice.
Yeah.
So, they can go all the way. They can do it. Now, will they do it? Connecticut's tough too. At this point in the playoffs, you're kind of at that point where you're getting to be like, it's just kind of a roll of the dice here. But Minnesota can definitely get that 5th championship.
And you got to deal with the Liberty too.
Yeah.
When whenever you get that far from the finals. So.
Trey, can I ask you a question, a Mystics question, real quick?
What's good?
Since you are the resident WNBA connoisseur around here. Aaliyah Edwards. We drafted her. Whoop de whoop, wop de wop. I ain't
You
heard
wanted
her
Angel
name.
Reese. Let's give the people the backstory. You wanted Angel Reese.
Yes, but we drafted Aaliyah Edwards. So I said, all right, that's what we drafted. We'll see what happens. Can you give me any inkling of how she's looked this year on this bad team?
I'll be honest with you. I haven't watched a lot of Mystics games, but I will say in the second half of the season when they were making a push, and I know that's hard to say making a push.
I know we had like a 3-game streak at one point.
You had a win streak going. Yeah. Matter of fact, I think he was in the 8th spot for about several days there. So
look at what we're talking about. Look at what we're talking about.
Which is crazy, right? We knew this team wasn't going to be good, but yet they was in a playoff spot with like 2 weeks left to go. Look, man, I think Aaliyah Edwards is a good player. The thing you have to remember is Elena Delle Donne took the year off.
Yeah.
I don't know if she's going to come back. But if she comes back, then that team gets better with her in the lineup, along with Aaliyah Edwards and whatever else you got, there. So I'll just leave it at that.
And I make one more point. Can we just speak to the level of I don't even know how to describe it, where a player says, "Hey, I'm going to take a year off," and it's not like news. It's not. I haven't heard criticisms about it. I haven't heard anything about it. I don't know if it's because we're just not that good of a team, or they didn't have us being a good team anyway. But I can't see that with Delle Donne and on the roster, them not having us competing at least in the the bottom of a playoff run. Yeah. But I find that very interesting that she takes a year off and we ain't talking about it.
I think because and Vince, correct me if I'm wrong. I know maybe you follow maybe a little bit more WNBA than Maestro does, but some players in the past have taken.
Oh yeah, I know it's happened before
and have come back. Like Taurasi did it, I think, once if not 2 times, during her career. I think that's why there's not a lot of criticism.
It's been done. Obviously, you don't hear about it on the men's side of sports, obviously,
right?
As often, it's happened there as well. But you definitely hear a little bit more of that in the WNBA for, I don't know, probably of various reasons, right? I mean, whether a player might be pregnant or just wants to take that time off, because they're playing overseas as well, and this and that, and traveling, coming back, and having to deal with all this stuff and the scheduling. And who knows? Who knows?
I'm gonna stay out of grown women's business.
Yep. There you go. There you go. Right. There you go. Hey Vince, one last thing, and we'll get to the Vikings. So, and me and Maestro, we've talked about this with the league. The WNBA still has a marketing problem. With all the Caitlin versus Reese stuff and the games and the scheduling and all the nasty discourse that's been happening this season with the league. The WNBA to me still has a marketing problem. And I'll give you an example with the Lynx. So I happened to watch Maya Moore's jersey retirement on TV. Luckily, I got, league pass and stuff. Otherwise, I wouldn't have known it happened, right? So it was the Fever game. I think it was a Fever in the Lynx. So obviously the building was full. There was some eyes on the game.
And Maya is Caitlin's favorite player of all time. So that was also a kind of another scheduling thing about that as well.
Yes. Yeah. I get the subliminals there too. Yep. My problem is that you're talking about one of the GOATs of the league.
Right. Yeah. No, so it looks like Trey froze up, but I kind of know where he's going, but he's right. I mean, this is literally right below Jordan, retiring on the women's side.
Right.
And so there's no mentions, there's no, hullabaloo, there's no nothing made by the ESPNs, the Fox Sports, the this, the that's of the world. Hell, even the NBAs. The NBA is still paying for most of these teams. And it was disappointing.
Yeah, the time of the game, Vince. The time of the game. It was what was it? It was a 9:30 game, 9:30 Eastern time.
Eastern, 8:30. Yeah, here's
8:30. Right. 9:30 Eastern time. And then I could see if, okay, maybe they did something halftime during the game, but and probably was best that they did it because the ceremony was so long.
Mm-hmm.
But they put that thing on the back end of the game. After the game is over, it's probably 11:30 at night on the East Coast.
Trey,
and they
got
got this thing going. If you don't got league pass or if you don't live in Minneapolis, you're not watching this thing.
Absolutely, man. And that's where the WNBA and their powers that be, and I don't know who those people are missing it on the marketing side. I get it. They're, Caitlin Clark and, New Eyes, all this stuff. And they, they get charter jets now and all this stuff. But there is still a league of other stars out there. And not only that, the stars that have helped build your league, like a Maya Moore and that story, retiring. Getting the guy out of prison and winds up marrying him and having a child and building this new family with the guy that she helped get out of prison. I mean, there's this whole thing there, and it's one of the great players of your league. I mean, this just wasn't like, hey, this is just some Minnesota Lynx player that helped them. This lady helped build the league.
Right. Do you think there's some resentment against her because she left the game in her prime?
Maybe, who knows? I mean, there's always the conspiracy theorist out there and stuff. I kind of take her at face value. She might have just been, tired of going through the grind, and obviously, her husband knew of his story and really just wanted to maybe, obviously, do what she did there and got him out of prison.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I ain't mad at her. I'm glad.
Me neither.
Came here and played and helped get women's sports on the map in Minnesota. She is loved in this state, by the way. I mean, where she's just one of them faces. Her and Lindsay Whalen. Lindsay's from here, of course. So but Maya Moore is a goddess up here in Minnesota and always will be.
Yes,
and
there's two famous dynasties in the WNBA. There's the Comets, won the first 4 championships in the late 90s, and it's the Minnesota Lynx. They won 4 in a 7-year stretch.
Yep.
You gotta you gotta do something with Maya Moore and make sure that NBA TV, ESPN, something.
Right.
You gotta do something there to make sure people know that she's being celebrated.
But the thing is, Trey, and before we get into the NFL here, it's divide and conquer mentality. They got us so worried about Caitlin versus Angel and who hates who and white, black, and this and that, and then, all this other stuff that that's fueling this, that all this stuff that should mean something and needs to mean something just falls by the wayside.
Yeah,
I mean, that was the thing. This was literally like Michael Jordan retiring in the WNBA. And she got her props here locally, because there was a bunch of stuff before that actual ceremony and things like that. But man, just on the national level and to really just kind of give her props of what she did in this league and helping to build this league and everything else. And then, just the player that she was too. I mean, forget the Lynx, bring it back to UConn as well.
Right.
So,
right.
It was just kind of sad. And just to kind of wrap it up, the thing with the marketing on the WNBA, they keep missing the bullseye, whether it's scheduling games at the wrong time where they should be maybe afternoon games on weekends instead of trying to go prime time where, you already
announcing the league MVP on an NFL Sunday morning.
Right, exactly. So,
come on.
Yeah, you just got to kind of, and I get it, it's a lot easier for us to sit here and say it than to be like, okay, well, do we announce it Monday? There's a football game Monday night. I mean, do we wait till Tuesday or, all that stuff? But I hear you, man. They have seemed to just continue to kind of misstep on some things marketing wise, in my personal opinion, while focusing on the negative aspects of, 2 of their top rookies, instead of melding that into something that really could have, been more positive. And I get it. There's a lot of politics that came into it and, this and that. But man, yeah, I hope they can figure it out and can maybe capitalize next season.
Man, I doubt it. It seemed like they ain't willing to, just like they wasn't willing to pay for a charter jets. They ain't willing to pay for their marketing either. And this is why.
Good point, Trey. Good point. Maestro, exactly, man. Because they just kind of keep stepping on their own toes.
Right.
Yep.
NFL, man. So you got a lot to celebrate right nowadays, man. Nobody in a million years saw it coming. Sam Darnold is all of a sudden in the MVP vote.
Who knew, man?
And you got to be honest about it. I don't know who's saying what or not saying what. Right. But and after 4 games, he has to be in the conversation. Yeah, it ain't nothing about it. He got to be in the conversation. What in the hell are y'all doing right in 4 games?
Well, man, I guess we put an offense around him, I guess. I mean, going back to when he was in USC, excuse me, I was never a Sam Darnold guy. Mm-hmm. I never understood why he was drafted as high as he was. I thought he was just okay out at Southern Cal. Mm-hmm. Nothing really impressed me about Sam Darnold until he got to Minnesota.
Right.
And obviously that's how it is for everybody. And, it's like, okay, well, he was signed to a year to just be basically the stopgap to get, McCarthy up and running. Now McCarthy obviously got injured. He's out for the year. So now here comes Sam, 4-0, doing his thing, all this stuff. I mean, the stats, we all know about the stats and, being basically first or second ranked in a bunch of categories.
Yeah.
MVP talk early on, deservedly so. But I can't tell you how this happened. I mean, as a Vikings fan, I'm glad it's happening.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I just think that, Sam just got a good team around him all of a sudden. And, he's been in the league for a minute. And maybe he's just more talented than I gave him credit for. And a bunch of other people gave him credit for. And obviously there's a lot of season left. But, we're talking about the here and now after 4 weeks. Yeah. A couple bad interceptions maybe. But outside of that.
Do you feel like this is sustainable this year for the Minnesota Vikings?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
I do think it's sustainable. And then you got to get into all this stuff towards the end of the season. Say you get a Super Bowl appearance or a deep playoff run, conference championship. Mm-hmm. Well, it's kind of the Case Keenum thing all over again. Do we keep him? Do we sign him now maybe for a couple more years and, get McCarthy, a little bit more time to learn that playbook and this and that. Meanwhile, pissing off JJ McCarthy more than likely, but hey.
Exactly.
I was going to say, I didn't even think that was a question for real. I always thought that this is, regardless of how the season ends for the Vikings, this is Sam Darnold's, This is his audition for somebody else quarterback next season.
Well, that's how everybody, Trey, thought about it before the season started because they didn't think he was going to be this good. Nobody thought the Vikings were going to be 4-0, 2-2, maybe 0-4. There were some people maybe talking some 0-4s, 1-3s.
Yeah.
But not what we've seen so far. And, is it sustainable? Sure. As long as there's no injuries. I mean, his confidence seems to grow week by week. He's got obviously a great offense around him. Addison's coming back, and so he's going to get one of his top receivers back. TJ Hawkinson, tight end, coming back here hopefully shortly from his stuff. So yet another big weapon coming back. So I think it is sustainable as long as he doesn't get hurt. None of our key players get hurt. Obviously, that's asking a lot in the NFL season.
Yeah,
but man. I don't know. I got nothing for you, man. It's just
well, because I can imagine you being in awe. You didn't see right. I don't think you saw this coming no more than any other Minnesota fans, exactly. and certainly anybody outside of Minnesota. So I mean, look, man, y'all beat San Fran and then smoke the Texans the next week, and then dealt with Green Bay. And
we tried to lose that game, but
but
that first half especially, and just watching what he did there, and man, I go back and look at that pass that he tossed to Jefferson on that touchdown.
Yeah,
I mean, ball placement there, JJ working his magic to bring that ball in. It's just like, man, it's a magical season so far, and. He has been around for a minute. He's been with a few different teams, and now he's going to London to play the Jets, and the history there. So, man, it's going to be interesting watching this thing kind of develop here, and I'm real excited for next week's game.
Yeah, that's going to be a good game for sure.
It seemed like the Vikings have this thing where they revive quarterbacks' careers.
Yeah.
Sam
at least
Darnold,
for a year or two. Yeah.
Case Keenum, Brett Favre, Randall Cunningham. Like, y'all have this history. I don't know what
Josh
it is
Dobbs.
up there. Yeah, you're right,
man.
right.
We can
Josh
even bring
Dobbs
it back to Jim McMahon when he played here, for a quick minute as well.
Yeah.
So that is kind of an interesting thing with this franchise is kind of where the quarterbacks don't go to die, they go to kind of revive the engine here for a year or two.
Right.
But outside of Donovan McNabb, but
I forgot all about that.
There's a reason you forgot about that. But I think what we're seeing this year too, and you got to give the coaching staff a lot of props, man. Kevin O'Connell, Brian Flores. I mean, these two in particular, man, are working some magic.
Yeah.
And, with Flores, recently taking the heat from Tua after Tua called him out. Mm-hmm. And, he came up here, he stepped to the mic, he addressed the situation, he spoke his truth and moved on. And, that's exactly what he said he was going to do, get this defense ready for the season, because even though we did okay last year defensively, there were a few rumblings about Brian Flores coming into this year and whatnot. So, will he be a head coach again? More than likely. So while we have him here, I'm glad he's here and working his magic on the defense. Kevin O'Connell, I thought it was a decent hire when they brought him on. Obviously, a young guy, didn't know a whole lot about him outside of what he's done at a few other teams and assistant role. But, man, he has really done a good job up here in Minnesota. And the fans dig him. The fans love this coaching staff. And I think they deserve a lot of props, at least so far from what they've been able to do, because, nobody expected this. And, to beat good teams, too, because, you get past, arguably we should beat the Jets on paper. Obviously it's a European game, so kind of anything might happen.
Anything goes with them international games.
Exactly.
Sure.
Yeah, that's the thing. Sure. Like the game here in Minneapolis on Sunday, I think starts at like 7:30 or something, so we got to get up super early. But outside of that, they get a bye. They come back with Detroit, and after that, the Vikings schedule, I don't want to say softens up, but softens up a little bit.
Yeah.
So, they're on the verge here of, if they can kind of keep this going, of putting together a 8, 9, 10-0 kind of run. And then obviously, then you're going to get people real happy and thinking all kinds of stuff at that point.
Yeah, this is look, I'm sold. I don't care about them almost blowing the game to Minnesota. I still believe in Brian Flores. I still believe in that defense.
Right.
I just chalk it up as they got up big and they just kind of maybe took the foot off the gas a little bit. And if I'm not mistaken, did Malik Willis start that game and they ended up putting Jordan Love in? Is that how that?
I thought
I started.
Yeah, Jordan Love did start.
Okay. Because I didn't hear nothing pre-week, going up to the game. I didn't hear anything about his status. So
and I knew that Jordan was going to start the game once I heard that he was practicing. And it's Minnesota, it's a rivalry game.
Yep.
Green Bay was 2-1. They were looking to, if they win that game, both teams are then 3-1.
3-1.
Yep.
Right.
Yep. So it was an important game. So it was nice to see him, strap up and get out there. Obviously, love what the Vikings did in the first half. Not so much the second half, obviously.
Right.
But, a win's a win. You learn from it, you move on. But these are professional football teams too, and that's one thing I think teams need to learn out there. The Vikings were down 33-0 last year to Indianapolis.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a couple of years ago. Yeah.
Right.
I remember that. Yeah.
So these teams just ain't going to lay down, even at 28-0, 28-7. As it was at halftime, the Vikings screwed up at the end there. But you got to remember that these are pros and they got pride, and they may not come back and win the game. But like Green Bay showed you, if Green Bay had another quarter, they probably would have won that game.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm thinking about your schedule, and you got the AFC South. And you've already, in my eyes, played the best team in that division, which means you got Indianapolis coming up, you got the Jags coming up, you got Tennessee coming up. So those look like, on paper, some games you should be able to win. I think the toughest games are going to be your division games, obviously. Like the Detroits, the Green Bays, the Chicagos. I think those will be like your biggest test. I mean, you passed one test already. Detroit's going to be another one coming up.
Right. Oh, absolutely. I mean, we saw what Detroit did last year, and they're feeling good. Look, what good game Monday night. Got now that they're winning, obviously the fan base is back, and all of a sudden, Ford Field, one of the toughest places to play in football. So Detroit, the division's always going to be tough. I know Chicago's struggling down there with their quarterback and whatnot, but Vikings also have a way every once in a while finding a way to play down to competition as well. Like right now, if they played Chicago, you'd be Vikings should win this game probably by a couple touchdowns.
Yeah.
Might win by 2 points. It's just that old NFC Central North, whatever you want to call it.
Oh, Detroit found out the hard way last year when Justin Fields was making his run in that one game. They found out the hard way, man.
So man. So the Vikings are obviously they're in a great spot. They're in a great spot to keep it going. And if they can keep focused, I think they got the right coaching staff. I think they got the right players. Defense looking real good. Shout out to Andrew Van Ginkel, my new favorite defensive stud over there. The guy looks like, Sean Penn from Fast Times at Ridgemont High, dude. But, man, this dude's got football instincts, man. This dude could just play.
Yeah, he was good in Miami for sure.
Absolutely. And that's the reason Flores brought him north.
Yeah.
He knew. So that's what I'm talking about. That's what coaches are supposed to do. Find the talent.
Yeah, for sure.
Hey, Vince, you want to stick around a little bit? Usually we talk AFC North, Steelers, Ravens, and how our prospective teams did this past weekend. We haven't gotten to that point yet.
Well, let me say this, because I think I have somebody waiting for dinner out here. But I will say this on the AFC. And of course, with Mr. Styles there. So Justin Fields for your squad. I've always been a big Justin Fields fan. Going back to Ohio State. I think the Bears just kind of, did him dirty, didn't give him what he needed to succeed there, obviously. So before I do got to get out of here, but I did want to talk to Maestro real quick about just the Steelers. The quarterback situation there, obviously, Justin doing a great job early on. And, all of a sudden it's just like, does Russell just you going to be taking that second seat all of a sudden, or is he going to find a way to maybe see the field?
He's definitely going to see the field. Not to my liking, but he's definitely going to see the field. And I made it quick because I heard you say you got to go. My issue is that Justin Fields statistically played a good game this past Sunday and has been statistically decent all year. But he hasn't done anything that he hasn't had that breakout game. And I feel like if he would have won that game against Indianapolis, that might have been enough, even with those two, with that bad sack he took and a fumble, and that bad hike in the fourth quarter. I think that would have been enough. He threw for 300 yards, had like 60 yards rushing, 2 touchdowns. Like
I thought he balled out. But, minus the mistakes.
But you can't minus the mistakes.
I hear you. Yeah. But I'm comparing a couple of days ago to the 3 games of the season.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. He is he's progressively gotten better. They got him in a system where he doesn't have to do much, but when he's called upon, he should be in a position to do something. He's like I said it 2 weeks ago. He's like an athletic Ryan Tannehill. That's what he looks like in his Arthur Smith offense. Like he just does it as it comes to as the offense brings it to him. Unfortunately, he just didn't win that game. He didn't have that breakout game with a win. They're going to give Russell Wilson a start, I feel like, to make sure that Justin Fields is the guy. And I think they'll find out. I think they're going to find out quick that Russell Wilson is going to be a proficient passer, but he's not going to have that element to break a game open. And then so upon Russell Wilson's loss, whenever it comes, whenever that mid to bad loss comes, they're gonna go back to Justin Fields.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Interesting.
Well, hey, man, I wish I could hang out here, but let's do this again soon.
Yes, sir.
And I got to get you guys back on Sports Done Right again as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I appreciate it. And Trey, I'm like I said, man, I'm excited for both of these teams. The Knicks and the Timberwolves, just to see how this plays out. I think it's going to be very interesting to see how this, just how it plays out on the court.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, so plug your show one more time before we let you go.
Absolutely. Sports Done Right. Just Google it. We're on all the platforms like the Barbershop. You can follow me on Twitter at the Big Smooth One, the number 1 after the Big Smooth. But yeah, other than that, just Google Sports Done Right, Vince Wright. You'll find us. So. Much appreciated, man. Always enjoy chopping it up.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, for sure, man. For sure.
All right, y'all. Be safe. Peace.
Yes, sir.
All right. You too, man. Vince Wright, Sports Done Right. Check him out. Twitter, YouTube, all that good stuff. Does some dope content right there. I'm glad you brought up the Justin Fields conversation because I got to admit I was in the streets Sunday afternoon, so I didn't get to watch a lot of 1 o'clock games, but I was kind of tracking some scores through the phone, and I did see, a couple of things came to mind with y'all's game with the Colts. A familiar face showed up in the game, Joe Flacco, because of the Anthony Richardson injury, and they put him back out there a second time.
Well,
he got hurt again.
Yeah, and to be honest, he was cooking us too. Before he got hurt, he was cooking us as well.
Anthony Richardson.
Anthony Richardson and Jonathan Taylor and like we was, and Pittman was. I think Pittman might have had 100 yards in the first half receiving. Look, man, it ain't nothing to say, but we were not awake for that game. We didn't wake up for that game. That's not if that defense plays, I mean, literally, if that defense plays 20% better than they played in that first half, we should have walked away with that game. Even in the last drive, I looked at this team and was like, okay, we fine. When we got the ball for the last drive, we should be fine. We should walk out of here with at least a field goal was my thoughts. But bad snap by Zach Frazier, where we lose yardage, and then Najee Harris fell in to go out of bounds to stop the clock. Some time management things, like I don't know why he was calling a timeout with 6 minutes left in the fourth quarter. It's a lot of bad to break down that we don't really got time to break down. But the overall consensus is that we did not come to play that first half, and our minutia of doing bad followed us into the second half, even though we started to play better. And it just wasn't enough. Joe Flacco and Josh Downs, we did not have an answer for Josh Downs. I don't know who that nigga was before today, but we did not have an answer for him. I don't know who that nigga was, but we beat ourselves. I hope that that's the worst game we play all year, because that was a bad game, and we still had an opportunity to win. So I hope that's the worst game we play all year.
How concerned are you about? Because I heard both guards got hurt. One of them is out for the season.
Yeah, I am concerned about James Daniels being out for the season. But Siamalu, oh, I'm sorry. Well, I'll get this point out. Siamalu should hopefully be coming back. So now we're talking about how coming back at left guard. So, but we're probably going to end up having to move him to right guard in order to let Mason McCormick play left guard because that's where his experience is as a rookie. Mm-hmm. So, hopefully, I mean, we're not going to get the offensive line we expected, projected going into the season, but I just hope these young boys progress. I do not like Zaire Franklin calling Najee Harris soft, not because he got a right to say that. I mean, they met in that hole and he popped them and he went down. But I don't like it. I am concerned when defensive players call running backs in Pittsburgh soft. And it makes me think about, Omar Khan not giving him that fifth-year option, not taking that fifth-year option, and this being his prove-it year. I think he'll, I'll be honest. I don't want to see Najee Harris go. But I can't imagine that the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to pay Najee Harris anything over $8 million based on what he's done in his first 4 years in Pittsburgh. So that concerns me.
And I guess I'll wrap it up with this. We were talking Justin Fields when Vince was on, and I made the point earlier that his, the production got better compared to the first 3 games. Despite the bad mistakes and the decision making and things like that, I still thought he did show me something. Like to be down 17-0.
Can I be honest with you? What he did, though, in my opinion, what they did was it said, okay, our running game's not working. I throw, when they didn't even open the playbook all the way for real. Okay, but they said, hey. Within the realm of what we're giving you with playbook wise, make something happen. So we know he can make something happen. But we knew he could make something happen. We knew that in Chicago he could make something happen. But I'm not gonna sit here and act like and he made good decisions throwing the ball. This was one of the better throwing. Like he legit has improved every week on throwing the ball. He has. There's no doubt about it. We just got some shit to figure out. And like I said,
of course, you don't like that you lost. Of course, you don't like that you lost.
Well, no, we got shit to figure out. If we would have won that game, we got some shit to figure out.
Right. Right.
You know what I'm saying? Right. That is look, the running game is not working. It's not working. And right now, we got people on former teams. I mean, I'm sorry, on opposite teams talking about Cordell Patterson is a better running back than Najee Harris. That is a problem.
That's a concern. That should be.
That's a big concern. Look, I'm not even super concerned about the defense. In fact, I'm not concerned about the defense at all. They didn't come to play. When they came to play that second half, you saw the difference. So I'm not concerned about the defense. It's the offense. I don't know how long they're going to wait before George Pickens gets mad about not getting target. Even though he had a lot of targets this past game. But he going to want to get fed more. He won't want to get into the end zone. That's the type of player I gather Pickens is because he's trying to prove, look, I'm that guy. Everybody talking about I'm that guy, but he hasn't put it together on a seasonal basis. You know what I'm saying? He has spurts when he cooking, but so we got to turn Pickens into the number one receiver we believe he is.
How much of the lack of a running game, not to say you guys don't have a running game, but
we haven't got it put together.
You haven't put it together. Do you think it's going to be more tougher now with the guards not being there and stuff?
Of course. Mason McCormick is a good rookie guard, but he got work to do. Siamalu like I said, we got to put Siamalu at right guard. He's going to replace. I hope that's what they're going to do, so he can replace James Daniels. They will be the best. He will be the best lineman on the offensive line, just like James Daniels was before he got hurt. So fingers crossed they put him there, and he can kind of help solidify things. But everybody else, Zach Frazier, he's doing good blocking, but these snaps. We can't have these snaps. And he's had like every game we've had a snapping issue outside of the Broncos game. Outside of the Broncos game so every single game we've had it. So I don't know if it's Justin Fields. I know that last one in the fourth quarter, tape would suggest that was Justin Fields' fault, and he took the blame for it. So we got shit to work on. That's the short of it. We got shit to work on.
All right. Yeah, man. Tell you what, this team, the Ravens, put the beat down on them Buffalo Bills, man.
That shit, man. I
put the beat down on them niggas, man.
I watched Henry do what he did. I was like, man, let me go ahead, Greg. Let me go ahead.
It's the Henry that showed up when he stiff armed Josh Norman a few years ago.
Yeah, I said, let me go ahead and go to bed, man. I ain't this ain't anybody to be no competition.
Which is crazy because the way our defense has been kind of giving up stuff in the fourth quarter, I'm surprised you decided to.
But for me, y'all were doing it runnings, so it was like it ain't rocket science.
He was doing it running against Dallas.
Yeah, I guess, but it looked different. Let's be clear, that running game looked way different Sunday than it did against Dallas.
Well, yeah, I mean, you bust a long run on the first play of the game.
Yeah, that shit hit different.
You set a tone. You definitely set a tone early. For sure.
Yeah.
Because the passing game was efficient. I mean, he didn't have to throw too many times, but just the passes that he was throwing, and the space that the receivers had, it opened everything up.
I had seen enough. I ain't want to watch that shit. I cut it off and watch something else. Especially off of Pittsburgh loss, where I really, really would have loved Buffalo to win that game. I was like, all right, man, I'm off this. This game is a wrap. Baltimore got it. And that was disheartening, man. I was looking forward to y'all taking a loss. So that means you and Cleveland won this week.
Cleveland lost.
I'm sorry, you're right. Cleveland did lose. I'm sorry.
I think you're talking about Cincinnati. Cincinnati did win.
Cincinnati lost. Yeah.
Cincinnati won. Cincinnati beat.
Cincinnati won. Thank you. I don't know why I'm conflating the two teams. Maybe because they don't mean nothing to me. But yeah. So yeah, man. But Baltimore winning is the team I'm concerned about for real in the North right now. Like I told you, I didn't think that the Cincinnati Bengals was going to the playoffs anyway, so I wasn't super concerned about them.
And we already know about Cleveland. We know,
and Cleveland is Cleveland. Cleveland
got some stuff. They trying to get rid of Amari Cooper. They trying to ship him off. So
which is crazy to me right now.
Yeah.
That is insane to me, because if you feel like you got a team like Cleveland is one of the better defenses. I know I get they don't look like right this second, but on paper they're one of the better defenses. If you just plug in a quarterback who's competent, Cleveland is a good team.
Right.
So that's beyond me, but whatever. Right. Fuck your team up again. Go ahead, Cleveland. Fuck it up again.
Like they always do.
Exactly.
Always do.
Yeah.
But no, I gotta praise my defense though too, because they took a lot of criticism, especially blowing a 10-point lead to the Raiders and then giving up 19 points in the fourth quarter to Dallas. And all week it was talk about, can this defense finish a game? And for a moment there against Buffalo, I think it was when Lamar fumbled, we felt like it was a turning point right there. But we just, the defense just played out of its mind. They made sure not to give up anything in the fourth quarter, so they finished strong. That's where I'm a bit satisfied, is that they got some of them issues fixed now. Will it translate next week and weeks beyond that? We'll see. But I like where we're headed. Like I told you before when we was 0-2, I said if they could get 2 out of these next 3, then I'm sticking on. We're holding on. But then they got 2. They got Dallas. They got Buffalo. And I expect to beat the Bengals this coming Sunday. The Bengals, while I know they can put up points, that defense, and you said it about Cincinnati's defense, they're not great this year. They got some holes for sure. I mean, Carolina was putting in some work on them, despite the loss. So we should be able to go in there and come out of there 3-2, and then we'll be right back on track.
Okay, so I feel like I don't got much, but we can't come out of this podcast without talking about Jaden Daniels. I look.
DC got themselves a quarterback.
Yeah, we can't. Yeah, we just need that defense to play a little bit. Like, look, if this defense is a middle of the pack defense. Mm-hmm. If they're just that, I don't know where they're officially ranked at, but I look at
they're winning 11 games. If their defense plays middle of the pack, they're winning 11 games.
Sure, but but allow me to reach a little bit.
Yep.
You telling me if this defense plays middle of the pack defense, that who's the best team in the NFC right now? I guess San Fran on paper, even though they're not playing like it right now.
Not playing like it right now. Lions. I mean.
Like you're telling me that Jaden Daniels couldn't be the Lions team, like if that defense played just a little bit better?
I think right now, if you're asking me, Commanders versus Lions in a matchup,
you're taking the Lions. I'm
taking the Lions, but the Commanders is gonna put in some work.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like legit. If this defense plays just a little bit better. Mm-hmm. I would look at every game and look at the Commanders and say, "Ooh, they could upset this team. Yeah. Ooh, they could upset this team." You know what I'm saying? Like that's how their offense is looking right now.
Oh yeah.
Brian Robinson is playing out his mind. Jerry McNichols, who's been covering up since Eckler's been hurt, balling. Man, like they Jaden Daniels is. They making the offense. He's making the offensive line look just they look,
the truth.
He's making them look just a little bit better right now. Mm-hmm. So I mean, shout out to the Commanders right now. I don't know how long it's gonna last. I was telling somebody yesterday, man, that Thanksgiving game is definitely gonna hit different. Like normally Cowboys fans are real confident about like I don't know that they've been this concerned since RG3 was. With them on that Thanksgiving game when
when he went off,
when he went, like this is shaping up to be one of those Thanksgivings. I ain't gonna hold you,
and I ain't gonna hold you too. The Cowboys might be by the time we get to Thanksgiving, the Cowboys might be this close to being out of it. So Micah Parsons is gonna miss Sunday's game, which I know you're happy about. Marcus Lawrence is on IR several weeks. So the Dallas Cowboys have got some issues, and their schedule. I mean, they got Pittsburgh coming up, they got Detroit coming up, 49ers, Falcons. You go on down the line. The outlook for Dallas just don't look good right now.
Yeah, we need that game though. I mean, not because of I guess it's an NFC game, so it don't count as hurt as much. But we need that game.
Yeah,
we need that game at home.
Yeah. What's going on with the Eagles, man? Like,
I don't know. I'll be honest with you. I have not watched one Eagles game this year. I watched a little bit of that Week 1 against Green Bay, but I have not really watched the Eagles this year. I don't know who they play this week, but they did run across my mind.
They got a bye week.
Okay. Yeah. They ran across my mind because shout out Breezy on on Twitter. I always see her upset and kirking and and I was like, damn, they must really be stinking it up right now.
Yeah, 24-0.
24-0
against the Buccaneers. Yeah, 24-0. I mean, they tried to make a game of it, but that score ended up being 33-16. As a final. But I could point to a few things. AJ Brown not being there, that changes your offense. Devontae Smith.
Yeah, bro. I mean, look,
injury.
Yeah. Sure, AJ Brown is one of them receivers in the league, bro. But that team is stacked. It has Saquon Barkley, it has Goddard, it has Devontae Smith. I forget who that. Jahan Dotson. I know he's.
I don't think he played. Devontae Smith didn't play.
He didn't play. Okay,
he didn't play on Sunday.
Okay.
So your top two receivers not playing. That's a big deal.
But 33-16. I'm sorry. I'm not Jack. Look, if you think you're the best team in the division, you feel like you. I mean, I know y'all lost y'all coordinators 2 years ago, and maybe that's how you feel like what happened last year. But then you bring in Fangio and you bring in Kellen Moore because you needed experience at them positions. Right. Like, nah, bruh. 33-16. I get the Buccaneers playing decent football right now, but nah, bro. 33-16, 24-0 at half. Nah. There's no excuse if you believe you're one of them teams. So now we're sitting here questioning are the Eagles really one of them teams? Now we really do. And look,
get the receivers back. Get the receivers back.
Okay.
I'm not counting them out. I'm
not either. But look. Yeah. If we believe it, and Tomlin says it all the time, if you really believe in that next man up shit, and maybe Philly don't, that was a shady comment that I meant to throw out there, and maybe they don't believe in next man up. But if you believe in next man up, obviously we're not asking Jahan Dotson to play like AJ Brown, but what we are asking is for you to find something. Saquon Barkley, was he there?
He was there.
Is that defense still there? That defense should be a middle of the pack, if not a top 10 offense. I mean, I'm sorry, defense. Should be. Yeah. Jalen Carter, Jalen Carter is having meltdowns. Yeah. And you know what I'm saying? I don't.
Yeah, Bucks seem to be. I don't want to say the Bucks got their number, but something's going on. Tampa's playing some good ball right now.
I'm just saying 24-0 at half and 33-16.
It's nasty work.
It's not acceptable. Sure. It's not acceptable. Shout out to Jared Goff, though. While we're talking about positives, 18-18 yesterday, 2 touchdowns, and caught a touchdown against the Seahawks. Look, anytime you don't miss a pass, hey, salute. Clearly, it doesn't happen. I don't even know when it's ever happened. Before today, I'm sure. I feel like it's happened.
I feel like it's happened too. I feel like it's happened years ago. But
yeah, I remember that one game. I remember that one game. Mark Brunell for the Redskins, and he might. I think he was either. I feel like he was 25 for 25. I feel like it. But that's just me. I don't know.
Right. We saw a familiar face last night also, but not in that Detroit game. It was in the Tennessee-Miami game, and Mason Rudolph had to make an appearance in the game because Will Levis is still being stupid, making stupid plays, and so
let me. I always like to give you your flowers when you write, and I'm gonna take mine when I am. I saw the comments when I told y'all that the Titans wasn't going to be good this year. And that this is like, look, y'all, it's the Texans and everybody else in the AFC South. Let me be very, very clear. It's the Texans, and then there's everybody else. And I you put a video out like around preseason, and I saw the comments where it was like, I don't know about that, like.
Yeah, my man Seawood was like, I don't know about the Titans. Like, yeah, bro. Look. Levis. It's all on Will Levis. If Will Levis be doing some of the dumb shit that he's been doing that we've seen through 4 weeks, then y'all ain't gonna be nothing.
Garbage.
So
I'm sorry. If I'm wrong, then I will come back around here and say I'm wrong. Will Levis is garbage.
So yeah, they need a quarterback, man.
Yeah,
I mean, they better off sticking with Mason Rudolph.
And we know Mason Rudolph will at least be efficient. Will Levis is garbage.
Right. Well, I mean, we'll see if this is a facade or not, because Miami, on the other hand, had Tyler Huntley at quarterback. I'll just say this. I'm glad he was playing last night and not the previous night before for our team. I'll say that.
Oh, man.
I don't miss none of that.
Oh, man.
My man was still. It seemed like his footwork is just crazy. Like the man be slipping and sliding when he drop back. He's still doing the same stuff. I don't miss none of that one bit, man. God bless the Dolphins.
Hey, God bless to it, man. Get healthy, man.
Yeah, for real. Man, if you don't got no other quick hitters, man, we could get to some picks, man. All right. Thursday night game. Actually, I need to pull up the schedule because I thought I had it right here on me. But I know that Thursday game is it's an NFC South matchup. I think it's Bucks at Atlanta. So who you like in that one?
Give me the Bucks.
Bucks.
You got it pulled up?
I will have it pulled up.
Okay.
In a sec. But you said you like the Bucks?
Yeah, I like the Bucks over the Falcons.
Okay. Bucks playing some good ball. Atlanta, nice win over the Saints. I'll ride with the Falcons on this one. Then we got this international game. We got Jets in Minnesota. I'm taking the Vikings.
I'm going to take Minnesota.
Yep, me too. Carolina at Chicago.
Give me Chicago.
Give me Carolina.
That's fair.
And I don't know if it's an upset or not, but
it's not. But that's fair.
I'll take Andy Dalton.
That's fair. That's fair.
This one. Give me the Ravens over Cincinnati in Cincinnati.
Yeah, gotta take the Ravens, unfortunately.
Dolphins at the Patriots. Yeah, Patriots. That's gonna be an ugly game though.
Mm-hmm.
Browns. Give me. No, I'm not taking the Browns over the Commanders. Give me the Commanders at home over the Browns.
Give me the Commanders. Yep.
Colts at the Jags.
Give me the Colts.
Jags get the first win of the season.
Okay.
Colts struggle down there for some reason. There's that streak, I think, that's still going on. I think they lost like 6 consecutive in Jacksonville. I'll ride with that.
Okay.
Great game here. Bills at the Texans.
The Texans.
But I'm gonna take Buffalo.
That's fair.
Bounce back.
Yep.
Take Buffalo to bounce back. Raiders at the Broncos.
Give me the Bo Nix has been playing decent since he lost to Pittsburgh. But
has he, or has the defense been?
I mean, that too. Obviously, the defense has turned up, but the defense played good against Pittsburgh. So, to be honest with you, I didn't look at that team and feel like the defense was the issue anyway.
The constant, right? That's been the constant with Denver,
right.
Defense.
But give I want to pick. I want to pick the right, and I feel like Antonio Pierce has been dealing with the team good under turmoil. And so that's why I want to pick the Raiders, and that's why I will pick the Raiders.
I'll take Denver at home.
Yeah.
I'll take them. Give me the 49ers over the Cardinals in San Francisco. Yeah. No McCaffrey.
Yeah.
But they
Jordan Mason has been serviceable.
They're still and he's like second in rushing.
Yeah.
So they doing all right.
That Shanahan system.
Yep. So what? You got 49ers?
Yeah, I take the 49ers. I did want to try to see if I would take the Cardinals in the upset, but
nah.
Yeah.
All right. Green Bay at the Rams.
Give me Green Bay.
Yeah, I'll take Green Bay too. Giants at Seattle. I'll take Seattle. Cowboys at the Steelers. I know you're going with the Steelers.
Give me Pittsburgh.
I will unfortunately go with the Steelers because I think the Cowboys, with the defensive injuries, y'all should. I mean, if there's a spot to get the running game going,
yes, Lord willing, that's what I'm hoping. If there's a spot
to get the running game going, this is it.
That is what I'm hoping. But the problem is Cordell Patterson ankle hurting. Jaylen Warren is probably, Jaylen Warren's not going to play. So we got Najee Harris and Shampklin, who's our guy with the practice squad. Then we're probably going to have to bring up Jonathan Ward from the practice squad. So we got Najee Harris and two, Shampklin got his first carry last week. And Jonathan Ward has broken one in the preseason, but, this ain't the preseason.
Right.
So, I don't know. Right. Fingers crossed.
Yeah. I mean, should be a good game. I mean, Dak Prescott, I think, is still going to be able to put up some numbers.
And stop holding TJ Watt. My God. Like, I'm so sick of seeing this shit and it's just not being called.
Is it that? I was going to say, it's that it's not being called. I think you're more sick of that than him actually being held.
Yeah, of course it is. Because if you get held, I want the call. So,
right. Because, Monday night, I think this should be a good game. Saints at the Chiefs. Rasheed Rice
is out. Is injured.
Out. Yep. Pacheco was still out.
Yeah, I'm still taking the Chiefs though.
I'm gonna go upset special here.
I'm not mad at that.
I'm gonna take the Saints on the road.
I ain't mad at that.
I'm gonna take the Saints, and they've had not so good couple of weeks. I mean, everybody was on the Saints the first 2 weeks with the 40-point performances, and they've kind of come back to earth.
Yeah, that's all.
Came back to earth. So, but I'm gonna take the Saints. I'll take the Saints on the road in the upset special there. Big shout out to the homie Vince Wright for coming through.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate everybody in the chats. Shout out to everybody watching us on Instagram Live for sure.
Twitch.
Naughty Gal 33, I see you. Fez the Barber 310, I see you. Sports Done Wright. Appreciate y'all. Folks, continue to follow us on social media. We got the Facebook page. We also got the YouTube channel. Make sure y'all subscribe to the channel. Click that like button. We're on Twitch, like Maestro said. Also, follow us on Twitter at Barbershop SPOR2. Also on Instagram at Barbershop Sports Talk Podcast. Follow this man everywhere at Maestro Styles. Follow me at Trey Frazier on Instagram and on Facebook. If you got questions, comments, hit us up on the email, barbershopsportstalk1@gmail.com. And then also we got the merch store. So we got some things coming up, hoodies, and that weather's starting to get a little chilly out there. So we're definitely going to put some stuff out there on stock. And then these, the hats that I still got. Oh, I don't even know. Oh, I don't have the hat with me right now, but I still got some hats right there. Yeah, there you go. There we go.
I'm about to say, no, man. Yeah.
There we go. Still got some hats on sale, folks. So,
my wig ain't twisted right now, pardon.
Holla at your boy. DM your man if if you need a hat, definitely set that up for you. So if nothing else, folks, love, peace, and happiness to everybody out there. Dope show tonight. Looking forward to the next one next week. And as always, folks, mind your damn business.
Drink some water.
Oh yeah, we got him. Trey Frazier and Maestro Styles, we got one. Right back like we left some. We don't duck smoke, we want all of it. So line them up, Trey sharp with the blade, we sizing it up. I'm quick to catch the fade, Styles making the cut. Cause we coming out clean every time that we showing up.
It's gonna be called The Barbershop.